The game started like any other. I got the Wisconsin wagee waging war for Wyoming. With the new time you get to inoculate yourself against your team's germs at the start of the game, we all stood around awkwardly like wallflowers at prom. In lane next to me, I had the Nickelodeon Gak monster. And against us was the dynamic duo of Matchstick and late-stage arthritis. As soon as lane starts, I get right to work. Just shooting people. I was out marking people like it was the pee fetishist's first and last time at a furry con. I honestly sit and just play aim labs for a while the goop inhales the minions with gusto and gluttony. The enemy realizes the correct answer is to push, but thankfully, to do so means they come within range to start stacking my stuff on them. Wingman and the Wingman end up spending majority of the laning phase with their dad's flop camera staring down at them. With the enemy gone for seconds, my object permanence kicks in and I remember that there are creeps that spawn in this game. Grey Talon plays peekaboo, leading to Vincent panic cubing me. I say thanks, so he doesn't get performance anxiety about it. I keep wandering back to shop to check the fridge if I can afford my first item, despite knowing my bank balance didn't account for groceries this month. Thankfully, each toddler carries their lunch money with them, so I'm able to afford the meager rations I carry around in my pocket for emotional support. With my newfound calories, I try to show off my bugs and scabs to the enemies, but I forget it's an old man and the Burning Man, so I go show them off to the children before beating them up to feel better about myself. Now, with the courage to face the Nerf bow-wielding dementia patient, I go and continually spit on him from a distance with my dinky weapon. Little does he know the gin has made my saliva thick like oil, with perfume that once it builds up it'll knock your ass to the ground. For now, my smelling salt spit only disgusts the geezer before seeing the flaming freak running past me. Making sure I got my feet off the hot coals, I run for my life as my health drops to only 3 hearts, before Vizipop suspends me in lime jello. And now, to repay the favor owed in Goop, I must protect my comrade, helping jump in front of the bullets which are whizzing by his cover. I also limply lobbed shots back, but an underhanded toss can only get so much force. The enemy, realizing the arms race was in their favor, began trying to push the wave and their advantage. I ran back to the merchant for comfort, only to realize I was flat broke and was promptly kicked out to go earn a wage. I hide, trying to get money however I can, when our antagonist shows her face, calling out at 4.5 minutes in that we should just let them have this. This is lost. While trying to grasp how the edgy teenager became a defeatist in less time than the entirety of Virtual Insanity, I get pounced on by the fedora-wearing Naruto runner. Thankfully for me, in any videos of hot things versus gelatin, the gelatin always wins. But as I was running away, the prepubescent preschooler came and stole my seat while I was up. I offered to go blue to offset the lost child, healing my wounds under the watchful eye of the arched mother, before setting off into unexplored territory, towards Twilight Sparkle. During this lull, I checked the scoreboard to see what spurred on this temper tantrum. Silver had bit the silver bullet twice, and both blue bitchless bozos got beamed. I'll admit, I strolled in with confidence. I had done not terribly in my lane, and although I missed my viscous vitamin dispenser, I would only come to miss that lane more so as I entered what must have been a personally crafted hellscape of Blitzcrank and the Spaghetti Maker. My confidence is met with a stomp, which chunks 2 full hearts. Left dazed, I stumbled back, trying to get my bearings, being wary of the potential for a pull. The Unicode got bounced up and then rushed in with a few pixels of health left, being properly pounced on by the predatory nature of robots not bound by Asimov's laws. It ends as expected, as I put a second point into my 3 before watching as Blimp charged his laser pointer. It burned my eyes, so I took cover from the harmful UV rays. The other bot bounded towards me and bestowed his big old belly button, which pulled me out of cover and was polite enough to present me to the still active death beam. Thankfully, the targeting system of the beam's wielder extended my life before I got sent to go survey the stars. Experiencing this wombo combo of ults, I almost understood Graves, before remembering they fought them and gave up before either ult was even acquired. The last thing I see before I'm brought back was Celeste closing in on a very low health professor. But I returned to the pony cowering half a football field away. At this point, the game is still fully winnable. Starting this race off, we all just face planted. I spend my energy trying to pull the other 5 faces in the mud up. It certainly doesn't help when some of my teammates are still learning how their own legs function, but it's still technically doable. It does feel like we are school children racing fully grown adult teachers. The adults' hubris gets them shafted as while turned towards us on the ground laughing, letting the bouncy ball best the better men. Moby hid unaware I already touched that alcove, leading to his death. For my efforts, I unlock fast travel. After this, we try our damnedest to orphan the adults, maybe overzealously staying. The Pink Pony Club gets pounced on by the professor, trying to pick women up. Unaware it is a gay bar, so I white knight trying to look cool for Nishala, so I may get a single vacation day this year. Sadly, Saline took my vacation day, calling off, leaving me to work a Clopen alone. The familiar sensation of hearing the face melter fire up, I fling myself behind cover, only to see my guardian that stepped up taking the full force of it. Due to my excellent pattern recognition of seeing it was cooked, I chose to peace out back home. Hopefully when Deadlock 2 comes out and is open world, we can teleport to Wyoming and start a Civ 5 save file. Hearing the chime of doom, I head back to check out the crime scene, making sure to brutally interrogate any who were present at the time of the murder. Even some that hadn't been, but are guilty by association. The 3.5 on Rate My Professor stuck around with a tantalizing amount of health points, so I tried worming my way towards wherever I could start stacking my genie's mark. Thankfully, he hadn't faced the raw stank of my markings yet. The smell made his nose implode. Kimbop was left on his lonesome and lured me close enough to grab and yank me under tower. Thankfully, using the power of spinning, I managed to flee far enough away to face the foes. Before the scrap heap parkoured up the wall and blasted my face with the concentrated knowledge of all previous battle bots. My best ability now fully leveled, and my death timer at only 12 seconds, I prepared for another try to gain some kind of foothold. We pushed to try to take at least one of their enemy's guardians. So I obviously only focus my fire on my own killer, and with my personal poop spray not being enough, I use everything I own, every beetle, every last drop. But despite being bitten and blown around, Bebop was still alive, all because of the 2.5-star teacher. This one stung, I can't lie, sitting in timeout trying to do the math in my head like it'd change what happened. Tabbing back in from the calculator, I get notified that a possible solution to our current conundrum of being half a mile behind the enemies is around. When I arrive at the place Geocache sent me, only to find a familiar face standing guard. Not letting my past trauma control me, I scared the unrefined scrap back before being grabbed by the grad school graduate. My stank was enough to tip the tin can over while I was stuck in freefall, and with the effort and the fact we had more bodies present, we got the gift from the gash. Using our newfound recruited child soldiers to get a single objective before Geist tosses her own gamer aura towards me, leaving me running into a knee-high wall before her stank overtook me. Now, with the ability to observe my fellow racers, I watch as one by one they get massacred. Making sure to open the scoreboard to fully take in the state of the game, I go back blue, mainly just for money, but find a certain annoying android. Missing my shots, I return to my original goal of trying to scrounge up some cash by harvesting the children for copper wire. After the slowest wave clear ever, I see my old war buddy in danger, and use my lamp's magic to materialize behind Viscous.
The gym take me where I am needed.
Seeing the people who bullied me years ago at the reunion, I show off how strong and cool I am now. Flambe forgets how forceful my BO was and drops dead after just a few drops of my sweat. I go and try to fistfight the professor in front of my old high school crush and win their admiration. And with them pushed back, I set my sights on the one more at risk of disease and start trying to spray at the old man. I learn he has been hiding thumbtacks in his Nerf darts at the nursing home, and his wartime instincts kick in, sending a suicide bomber my way. I effortlessly dodge through the dive bomber's path before being blown up by the chalk supplier and eater. During this death, Drifter drunk drives towards Yellow and gets into a head-on collision with two vehicles, walking away unscathed. I try to clean up the mess that was left over when Graves starts sitting spawn sulking. I get a single shot off before losing the enemy, when suddenly I hear the whining wail of a wimpy waste of water, trying to tell us it was lost. I turn around to see the Graves back lying face down in the dirt by the starting line. She was pulled up to her feet, but seems to have given up, letting herself fall back face first into the ground before the first hurdle. And we are all sadly tied together with this bitchy brat. Now, I'll admit, I was being affected by the vibes of the game, and this dude had been bitching nonstop, so I got real close to my mic, press and held X, and let him know to shut the fuck up. Now, I could have handled that better, but after having my game be altered by this half-baked troglodyte crying and changing lane, having my pleasant time with Viscous ruined, then still having the gall to cry and complain like a petulant child and give up despite the only way to learn is by failing. Having all this compiled with them putting their fingers in their ears and calling people names and sitting in spawn with their fingers up their ass refusing to play because you were mad it didn't go your way a few times within a 15-minute period. Caught with my pants down and keyboard out, the Drifter and Infernus tag team me in an alley. This should give me ample time to type, but I choose not to. Instead, I focus on the game, on what I can actually theoretically change. Ignore the Foxy jump scare, by the way. But as close as they get, my teammates I'm spectating can't finish anyone off, so I hurriedly zipline to try and remedy the situation. By the time I get there, the lesbians bit the curb. I shoot at who I can, but anyone in sight is full health. I, on the contrary, get bloodied almost immediately, getting burned, sucked, shot, and knocked upwards. Or more, my corpse gets knocked upwards, and I watch as Walker falls. I try to buy something, but am left just hitting tab to take in the game. Perhaps the Graves was right about it being a lost cause, but it only became lost when the Graves chose to lose, and set us into that timeline. I head to try to make sure we don't lose the only dog we have left to our name, where I find the old man again, It was a familiar face. He ulted on sight, and I dodged like good old times. I gave chase just like we used to. But I get hit and marked by the stinkiest, nastiest homeless man around, before I catch a single frame of the drifter before being sent back to monochrome land. My team tries to chase down the freak to avenge me, but ends up just getting caught in a big old belly. I spawn in and rush to go help, trying my best to keep them away and stall, but there's not much that can be done. Left without my faithful dog from lane, I swallowed my tears for my tripod pal, to report the child who started the domino effect leading to watching my pet get put down in front of me via firing squad. The game only becomes over the second you give up. There is statistically always a possibility of victory, because there is technically a chance every single power grid of the entire enemy team goes out all at once. The rest of the game goes as expected. We stay to defend an objective, but while always being a player down, it becomes infinitely more difficult to win those fights. This continues on for each single objective we had. Until we were left without a mom, abandoned on the streets of New York City. If you're watching this 9volt_9VTTV, fuck you.